A former professional footballer has been jailed for his role in a 250 million conspiracy that saw Class A drugs smuggled into the country, concealed in a trailer. Jamie Menagh was sentenced to 7.5 years in jail after it emerged he helped dish out the drugs to couriers who then distributed the South American cocaine and heroin around the UK. Jamie Menagh, who most recently lived in a plush waterside apartment before his arrest and charged early this year, is a former professional footballer who, as a youngster, represented Liverpool schoolboys. He later signed for his first professional contract at Blackpool before going on to represent teams across the northwest of the UK, including Prescott Cables, Chester FC, Marine FC, Stockport County, and Dearbush UK. The 31-year-old midfielder most recently turned out for Anfield club Lowbreck FC. It's not known when Menagh became involved in the drugs conspiracy taken apart by Northwest Regional Organised Crime Unit investigation, codenamed Operation Falcon, but Mould Crown Court heard this week that Menagh was recruited to help the gang's distribution routes. Menagh, of Waterloo Quay on Liverpool's waterfront, appeared with a number of other defendants in the dock at the Welsh court after being charged in connection with the 250 million plot that saw drugs smuggled into the UK in secret compartments concealed in a trailer. The criminal network used the Eurotunnel to transport the South American drugs from the European mainland and into the UK, concealed in the trailer. The newspapers previously reported how between May the 3rd and September the 21st last year, Guy Remington drove to mainland Europe before returning to his Hereford home 24 hours later. Remington would then travel to Luke Hurst's farm in Wales and remove the drugs from a concealment hidden behind the wooden panels of his trailer. The drugs were then sorted into boxes and bags for onward supply. Luke Hurst would meet his customers at a nearby service station or on Pinfold Lane, then take their cars to his property, where he would fill them with the drugs before giving their vehicles back to them, all to conceal the location of his farm. But it was after Remington's ninth and final drug run to Europe that the organised crime group came crashing down. Police, who had been carrying out a covert operation, intervened on September the 20th, 2023, as he was removing drugs from his trailer at Hurst's farm, ending the multi-million pounds drugs empire. He was arrested at the scene and taken into custody following an extensive search of Hurst's farm. Officers seized 183,865 cash from Remington's vehicle, 505 kilogram of cocaine, and 108 kilogram of heroin, estimated to be worth between 15 and 21 million pounds wholesale. On October the 18th, 2023, officers from the Regional Organised Crime Unit arrested Thomas Smith at his home address in Merseyside. Officers seized half a kilo of cocaine, 9,807 MDMA tablets with a street value of up to 167,000 and approximately 16,000 cash. They also recovered a notepad containing extensive records of his onward supply network, and on October the 26th, 2023, a search warrant was carried out at Station Road, Leatherhead, which led to the arrest of Morgan Towner, who acted as a courier for the organised crime group based in the south of England. The Northwest Regional Organised Crime Unit has now said after the warrant was executed at the farm in North Wales, Charles Dilworth, 25 of Chesterton Road, Caldwell, fled the scene and later left the country. He was arrested at Manchester Airport upon his return and has been jailed for 7 years and 6 months after pleading guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. Dilworth's getaway car, a black Range Rover, was spotted by police in the area. 5 minutes later, the occupants of the car made a false 999 call, claiming they had been kidnapped at knife point on the way to a local bar. A quick search by officers revealed that the bar had been closed since 2016. They were later arrested and convicted for attempting to pervert the course of justice. Michael Hardy, 32, of Macon Street, Walton, was jailed for 12 months. Erin Lee, 22, and of Netherfield Road, South, Everton, and Alicia Lee, 24, and of Smithdown Road, Wavertree, both received sentences of 8 months imprisonment, suspended for 18 months. Further investigations into the gang dredged up CCTV footage of Menagh loading drugs into his van. The North West Regional Organised Crime Unit said he was a Class A drug supplier who helped the gang then distribute to other couriers. The court said he had been recruited in order to earn some cash quick and didn't have knowledge of the scope of the drugs conspiracy. Michael Day, 36, and of Manchester Road in Prescott, was jailed for 6 years after pleading guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. Day was also a courier who visited the farm. David Haig, 50, of Austin Road, Doncaster, was jailed for 9 years and 4 months after pleading guilty to possession with intent to supply Class A drugs. He was a drug supplier from South Yorkshire who visited the farm 8 times. Mark Blower, 32, of Dartmouth Park Avenue, London, was a London supplier who was controlling Morgan Towner, jailed back in March this year. Blower was jailed for 14 years and 3 months for conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. Speaking previously to the newspapers, North West Regional Organised Crime Unit Detective Chief Superintendent Ian Whitehead said, "These drugs would have originated from South America. We know some of the orchestration was carried out by people in Dubai. The drugs were brought onto mainland Europe and then through the ports into the UK for distribution. With the amount of drugs involved, this would have undoubtedly hit the streets across the whole of the UK. We know the individuals involved. We as far as North Wales, London, Merseyside, but we know the distribution network operated far across the UK." Following their sentencing at Chester Crown Court in March this year, Hurst, 38, of Pinfold Lane, Flintshire, who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs, cocaine, heroin, was jailed for 12 years. Remington, 48, of Welsh Bicknor, Hertfordshire, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to import and supply Class A drugs, cocaine, heroin, and was jailed for 7 years. Smith, 43, of Garraby Drive, Huyton, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs, cocaine, heroin, possession with intent to supply Class A controlled drug, and possession of a Class B drug, cannabis, and was jailed for 18 years. Towner, 47, of Station Road, Leatherhead, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs, cocaine and heroin, and was jailed for 7 years. Senior Crown Prosecutor Nicola Wynne Williams of CPS Mersey, Cheshire's Complex Casework Unit, previously said this was a slick operation carried out with precision and planning. It is possibly the last thing that you could imagine happening at a farm in rural North Wales, but that was the key. The rural location provided privacy for the group to unload the huge quantities of heroin and cocaine stashed in a hide in the trailer. The nearby A55 and motorway network allowed the couriers to collect and be on their way to distribute the drugs for onward supply all over the country. DCS Whitehead told the newspapers These people are operating at the very highest level of drug importation, and I have no doubt these levels of drugs have absolutely devastating consequences on communities. The distribution of drugs results in higher crime rates, violence, and the exploitation of vulnerable people and young children. Please like this video, please comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.